So here's why I'm asking. Let me just like cut right to the chase.
Yeah.
I don't believe when most women say that they want to be submissive that they're telling the truth.
Why?
I think that because I don't believe that what they consider submission to be, I think that they consider it another form of partnership or equality. So I'll submit as long as you meet X, Y, Z conditions. So like for instance,
Right, well...
hang on. You said material conditions are important.
For me, yes.
So you get married. You get married to a guy who makes $500,000 a year. He gives you a wonderful life. He gets sick.
Okay.
Like my dad did. He gets multiple sclerosis. Okay. And now he's messed up. Is he still the head of the family even if you're the breadwinner?
I mean, he's my partner. I married him. You know, it wasn't his fault that he got sick.
It's true. But is he the head of the family even if you're the breadwinner?
In my eyes, he is. Like, I would be like, kids, respect your father. He's still your dad.
He says, I make all the decisions, and you're going to follow those decisions.
Well, I think decisions in the household, it's a two-parent household. Like, what decisions are being made? I think if you respect...
Well, that's not submission.
If you respect your partner, look, submissive is not a slave. Let's be clear.
What is it?
Submissive is like, to me, if your man, like, look, if we have gender roles, if we are both doing our part, like, in a way, a man submits to a woman, a woman submits to a man.
No, a man doesn't submit to a woman. How does a man submit to a woman?
Because your woman will have certain wishes that she wants you to grant or things she wants you to do. Let's say, like, throw out the trash or be home by dinner at this time or, you know, help me with this, help me with that. Or
sounds like equality.
Or provide. That's not equality because, like, she's not.
Well, if you're saying that he has to submit under XYZ role, you have to submit under XYZ role, it sounds like it's a partnership.
Look, yes, we are partners.
Oh, that's not equal.
Partners are not equal.
They're not? You have a lesser equality to your husband?
No, I deserve respect.
Well, that confuses me.
Okay.
Are you equal or are you not equal to your husband?
We're not equal because you're a man, I'm a woman. We deserve equal respect, but we both have different roles. So equal
dignity as human beings, sure.
We have different roles in this relationship dynamic. You're a father, you're a husband, I'm a wife, I'm a mother.
So what's his role if he's sick? Right? And he can't work and you have to provide. He says this. Hang on. He says this. When you come home, you're going to give me all the money. And I'm going to put the money in where I see fit, right? That's where it's going to go. Well, and hang on. Let me finish. Yeah. And you disagree with what he's doing with that money, and you're making it.
Why would I disagree? I would trust. I mean,
because you do. You think he's spending it unwisely.
So in this scenario, I disagree with him. I would express that. Look, I don't think it's a smart decision. And you know, if you want to that's the thing. Like, it's not an argument. It's like this is what's the problem. Like, let's solve it. So it's not about me being right or you being right. And he says, okay,
let's solve it. We're going to do this, and that's it.
Well, that wouldn't be my partner.
Oh,
because
right.
my partner's not stuck on. My partner's not stuck on having his way.
Respect me first, Andrew.
Right. So when you boil it down,
we both deserve respect. How would you like it if I came home and I'm like, no, we're only doing this, and what I say goes?
Well, if I was the one advocating that I was submissive, that would be my expectation.
Look, in a relationship,
that I'd come home and submit.
In a relationship, we both submit at certain different times of the day.
Equality.
Like, it's not equality.
Oh, really? It sounds like equality.
Okay,
it sounds like with like flowery.
What's equality to you?
So for me, it would be a kind of utilitarian aspect of egalitarianism, which would mean that you think that you are equal to your husband.
I'm not, though. So
then why is it then if he says this is the way it is? You say,
I wouldn't argue
that would
with
not
him.
be my partner who said that to me. If I thought he was using that money irresponsibly, I thought so.
So what would you do if your wife was misusing your money? Like, you know, you're not going to have
I would take the money away from her.
You're not. So I'm not going to take anything away from my husband. Like,
well, then if he says that's the way it is, you should say what?
Well, then that's the way it is. But
well, then how come earlier you said that would not be my partner?
Because my partner would allow me to like express myself and have my views.
Why should he allow you to express yourself if he's already made the decision? If he says no.
Because some decisions require two people.
Which ones?
And some decisions you want your partner's input.
Which decision requires two people?
It doesn't. I don't have. Have you ever been married or in a relationship?
Let's assume I haven't.
Okay, well,
you can tell?
whether you have or you haven't.
I thought you might.
I have a question. Whether you have or you haven't, have you owned a business with someone else?
Let's assume I haven't.
Have you played a sport with someone else?
Let's assume I haven't. Can you get to the argument?
My argument is that in all these things, you need to consult with the people you're working with, or,
consult.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a coach in a team, when you go to consult with your players, can you do things like, say, run a bunch of fucking laps? And if you don't, you're off the team.
I don't know. I'm not a coach.
Then why'd you bring it up as an example?
Because, when you're...
Why did you ask me?
Because I'm talking about team.
What the fuck? You just asked me. You were like, have you ever been on a team?
Yeah.
And I give you a team analogy, and you're like, I have no idea?
Right, you're talking about... Okay, I'm talking about team setting, as in team player with team player. You're talking about the coach. I think, I'm not a coach. I don't know. But in a team setting, like a relationship is, because it is a partnership. You get married as a partnership.
And your submission comes in as what?
As respect for my husband.
Yeah, but what does that mean? I just gave you a scenario in which your husband says, from your perspective, he's not respecting you. From your perspective, he's saying, hang on, it's baked into the hypothetical. Just listen. Don't move it. Hang on. Don't move ahead because it's designed to test your logic.
Why is hypothetical always negative?
Hypotheticals aren't always negative. It's just designed to test your logic so we can see where you end up.
Okay, cool.
This guy's making decisions you don't agree with, and he's taking your money, which you're earning, and he's sick. And you say, I don't agree with the decisions, and he says, listen, that's too bad. I have the last word on this. What happens?
Look, I don't know, because I've never been in that situation. I just trust that the man I end up with, I have good judgment of character. And, when people are sick, they're not themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think, I understand you say you don't know.
I don't know,
But from my perspective, submission. People who actually say, I submit to my husband, in that situation, they submit.
It's not, again, so much about being right or wrong. I think it's more about, like, this is the problem, let's solve it. So that is,
Yeah, but what if he says it's not a problem? I've already solved it. Now go away.
Then I trust him.
Now go to your room. Now go to your room.
Look, if it's solved, if my husband wouldn't speak to me that way. That's
Why not?
The thing. Because there's respect. Because when you respect your partner...
If you're questioning him, you're not respecting him.
I'm not questioning him.
Then why did he send you to your room?
You're saying...
No, she's mad. She's about Chris saying, go leave, bitch. He didn't... And just to clarify, Chris said leave bitch. That's not what he said.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, he didn't say that. So disregard Chris.
No.
But in your story, I'm disagreeing with my husband.
Right.
I would, I'm not really like a disagreeable person because I trust the man I'm with.
What are you doing right now?
No,
right now, man.
No, he wants to debate and argue. I'm not, so I'm standing my ground on my point of view.
Okay.
And
I'll just end it like this then. Maybe we can find some common ground.
Maybe we could.
So in the situation then, if your husband, from your perspective, gets sick,
yes,
right, and it's terrible, but all of his faculties are intact, right, and he says, now you're going to go work. When you get home, I'm going to take the money, I'm going to apply it to the household how I see fit, even if you don't like it.
I trust him.
And you agree that women should do so.
I trust him, so I
Yeah, I know, but you agree women should do so if they're married.
I mean, it's your kingdom. Yeah, you cooperate. Like, you know what I mean? It's more than just about you. It's about your family and you guys. Everybody has different values. So, like, for me, like, I trust him. If he's intact, yeah, he's sick. Like, okay, now it's my turn.
And you think most women should?
I think if you value that relationship and you want it to last a long time and then yeah, do your end. Do your end.
Well, then we find some agreement. So women should submit to their husbands.
No,
yeah.
I was just kidding.
Wait, what?
You two are fucking horrific, and these allegations are insane. We picked them apart in 15 seconds. And these other women have been waiting patiently for us to get to them, and both of you need to get up where you're at and get the fuck out of here.
What the?
You make me sick.
Wait,
both of you
Andrew,
make me sick. I don't want to hear shit, Brian. I want him out. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here with your bullshit false allegations. You both fucking suck. Your stories are bullshit. And by the way,
I thought you could calm down.
What happened here?
Now you're taking your mask off.
This guy humped you and he dumped you and you want revenge.
Mask off now. You're finally showing your true color because you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, shut up. Shut up.
Thanks for showing us who you are. We're not getting off. We're not leaving. We are not leaving. We're the guests here. We are not leaving.
Oh, you demand to stay? Well, then stay in silence while we get to the rest of the girl.
We're not staying in silence because we're the guests here. That's the main reason why we're here. Why should we
And
be
now
silent?
you're unguested. I'm pulling rank.
Who are
Get
you?
the fuck out. Get out.
Who the hell are you to tell me that?
I'm the guy on this end of the screen. Get up.
You have
Get
no
the
right
fuck
and
out.
power. No, because you are afraid to play this video.
We're not
You're
playing
not
any of your
Walter,
CCP
so shut the fuck
propaganda.
up.
You're here on a visa from the Chinese government.
You are
You
not
tried
the
to attract an
father.
American
You're not
citizen
even
with bullshit.
father.
You need to get the
Are you
fuck
the
out of that
father?
studio.
No,
That's
I don't.
what you need to do.
I'm not going to.
Just let him yell. Let him.
See? This is the type of guy that's teaching you guys for being an irresponsible man.
Can I see this video?
He's showing us that's who he is right now. Exactly the same as Walter Weeks.
You mean awesome in every way? I'm sorry that you went down.
You yelled
and
at
Walter
us
humped
first.
you and you couldn't entrap him in your little fucking CCP scam. I'm terribly sorry that happened. That you went down on a student visa. Fuck this guy. He nutted in you a ton of times by your own admission. You let him, and then you tried to entrap him. You released the recording, and it didn't go
then,
over
and then I
exactly
should
how you
have
thought
keep
it
the
would go
kid.
over, did it?
Then
How did
I
that
better
work
keep
out
the
for you?
kid.
It didn't work
Why
out
didn't
so
I keep
well
the
when you
kid?
tried to entrap this guy, did it, lady?
Why didn't
Did
I
it?
keep the
Because
kid?
people
I
went,
should
no,
have
we don't
keep the
fucking
kid.
believe you, broad. We don't believe you.
You don't have to believe me. Judge
And we
will.
don't. Nobody
You don't
does,
have to because you are
lying sack of
nobody.
Human dog shit.
You are shit. You are disgusting. I didn't like you from the first time I saw you. Because you hate women. You hate women. You understand?
Wait, guys.
You have no respect for women. That's why you're here arguing right now.
You respect
So as I brought up the
Andrew,
video,
you
you told me to
respect
leave.
women.
You murdered your child.
He
You murdered your
doesn't.
child.
Andrew.
And it's Mother's Day. How do you like that? You murdered your kid. Happy Mother's Day, murderer. And the woman next to you, she agrees with me. How does that make you feel? How does that make the entire CCP feel that you're down here getting impregnated and murdering your offspring? How does that make you feel, ladies? Does that make you feel good?
Chill, calm down.
Whoa.
What the hell is going on?
Wait, hold on. This whole CCP angle here is totally new to me. Are you involved with the Communist Party of China?
I'm not going to talk about anything.
Well, hold on. If you omit here,
Yeah, can you badmouth?
I'm not gonna
right now
talk
publicly?
about-
Can you badmouth the CCP for us, just so that we know you're not a communist spy? Can you badmouth the CCP?
I don't
Can you
talk
say
about
that the
politics.
CCP is bad?
coming from?
Why do you bring up politics?
I'm asking
We're not
you.
here
Can
to
you
talk about
badmouth? Can you badmouth the CCP right now, live on this show, or are you?
I
or
don't
can
know
you not?
what you're talking about.
Wait, is this?
You know
I
what
don't
the
talk
CCP
about
is, don't you?
politics. No, I don't know. So
You
we're
don't
not
know-
here
you
to
don't know
talk
what the
about
Communist
this.
Party of your own country is? Can you criticize a single politician from your country right now?
Wait,
Can
where's
you
this
even do
coming
it?
Why do you even talk about my country? What's that got to do
Because
with
I
you?
know exactly what your country does with these entrapment.
Go to my
work fees. I
country
know
and talk
exactly
about
what
this.
They do.
This is the only way you can talk about. This is the only thing you can brought up. Now you're gonna
Wait, hold
criticize
on.
my country.
Guys, I'm not.
So
about,
now you're gonna
wait, hold on.
criticize my country.
Let me just ask
because you have
Andrew a
nothing else
question.
to say.
Davis.
You know you're wrong.
Let me.
Because you know you are a loser and you're wrong.
Andrew, let me ask you a
Play
question.
the video.
Andrew, let me ask you a question.
Play the video.
Are you? I don't want to promote any misinformation on my platform. Are you alleging that this whole thing, this is breaking news, that this whole thing was like some CCP attack on Walter?
Well, I don't know. She's here on a work visa. You know, she.
So wait,
she
you said
somehow-
I'm here
she
on a
somehow
student
targets
visa.
This guy. She
Now
gets
I'm on
impregnated by
work
him.
visa?
She's releasing audio. It sure sounds like some CCP style
Is
espionage.
Walter
hit.
a politician? Is Walter
Is this a
politician?
DHS hit?
Is Walter a politician?
Yes.
I'm asking you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. His
No,
show
he's
is
not.
highly political and highly politically engaged. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if you were part of some CCP spy network, like many have been,
trying-
the upper echelons of government. It wouldn't surprise me a bit.
I didn't know that he was going to come in with the CCP angle. I swear I'm serious. Like, this is, I don't know where he's even getting this shit from.
Because he tried to get me leave. I'm not leaving. Guess what?
Well, then stay while we get to the other fine gals who have been waiting patiently for us to talk.
Let's wait for the video.
Hold on. I'm going to return on, if anybody wants, I'm going to return on the TTS. Oh my God, has everything been, I'm sorry, guys.
It's been off this whole time.
Shit, it hasn't been popping up. For those of you, I'm very sorry. It's just going to like come through. I'm sorry, guys.
Jeremy
I don't know what happened.
$199.
I don't know what happened here,
Buddhist, you decided unilaterally to kill a child. Take away boys, don't nut inside of stupid, like these chicks. The more they talk, dumber they are. Andrew, want to hear from you, my spirit animal.
Okay, thank you guys. I think we're all cut up there. Okay, so let's talk about what the red pill is and what I view as the problems with red pill. So I view the red pill as kind of an offshoot or something that developed from maybe earlier MGTOW or manosphere types. So a lot of the complaints center around inequality before the courts and family law specifically benefiting women. I don't disagree there, but you mentioned yourself that they can be degenerate. And when I look at someone like the Fresh and Fit guys who do talk about, like, they encourage promiscuity among men, that's not something that I support.
Yeah, but again, this is a detailed problem with your worldview. So let me dive right into this as well. These are secularists, and these secularist men are trying to help secularist men. The Christians are supposed to be coming in with solutions to these issues, and what happens is, like you, they have actual contradictions inside of their worldview, so these guys don't want to listen to them. What you guys say is, oh, hey, just roll the dice, and hopefully you'll get lucky, and maybe you won't marry one of these horrible women. What is the actual Christian prescription? So then tell me, Lauren, what is the actual Christian prescription to hypergamy in society from women and mate selection? What is the actual solution that you have from a Christian ethic that you can give these guys that's better than what Fresh and Fit gives them?
I don't have a problem with hypergamy.
Yeah, that's not my question. My question is, if you believe in monogamy because you're a Christian, but women are not acting in a monogamous way inside society, which they're not, what is the prescription that you're going to give to men? There's not enough women to go around who are virtuous for the virtuous men. What prescription are you going to give to the secularists? Do you even have one? You don't have one, right?
Well, no, I think the solution is to do things like change family court, like absolutely change the law surrounding divorce. I think a lot of men, even if they are secularists, would feel better going into a marriage if they didn't think that there was such a good chance that they absolutely lose everything in the divorce. And I also think that you say that there's not enough good women to go around. I think that's true. And in my video talking about women and the right, I believe a lot of this stems from a lack of leadership from men in the church. I think there should be a lot of churches, they prioritize gynocentrism, female sensibilities over actual male leadership. And I think that's a problem. And I think if we were to let the church
doesn't answer the question. What is the actual prescription that you can give to men right now who are facing down the barrel of marriage, right? Where you have a state contract in a secular way. These guys are speaking to secular men. You're the Christian who's trying to convert them. What's the actual prescription that you're going to give these guys when it comes to marriage? What is it, Lauren?
Well, I think you pointed out that any prescription when it comes to marriage, if you're talking to a secularist, should be to follow Christ, because anything less than that is not a marriage.
Oh, and they go, yeah, but I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to, have sex with a bunch of hot chicks and then never tie myself down with the state. That makes a lot more sense. Can you actually tell me why that's illogical from a secular progressive state? I can't actually think of how it's illogical for a man who's a secularist to say, I don't want to get married in the current sphere. The women are not virtuous. And instead, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to have tons and tons of sex. And that's it. Why is that actually problematic from that stance? Doesn't it seem like it's good advice for Fresh and Fit?
If your problem with women is that too many of them have slept around, etc., then I don't think you need to be a Christian to recognize that by continuing to sleep with these women, you are exacerbating the problem. That would be
contrary to hypergamy. Hypergamy is actually stating the opposite within the red pill, within the red pill thought process. They're actually stating the opposite, that most men cannot sleep with X amount of women. Most of them cannot. Most women can sleep with whatever guy they want. Most guys cannot sleep with whatever woman they want. So it would actually be the opposite within their sphere. So they're telling men, actually, you're probably not going to be able to do this thing. However, here's self-improvement you can do, which would improve your chances of mate selection and things like this. From a secular standpoint, how in the world could they possibly be wrong? What are you offering? This is the question. What are you offering from the Christian church, from the Christian perspective, to combat these ideas, Lauren? What are you actually showing them?
Well, once more, you talk about the fact that, well, they're offering self-improvement so that men can improve their chances for mate selection. I will maintain, if you are a man who believes that promiscuity amongst women, sleeping with men who they are not married to, is a problem, you cannot engage in that same behavior while complaining about the problem. You are exacerbating the problem.
Yeah, but most of those men are not exacerbating the problem. This is not a male problem. This would be a woman problem when it comes to hypergamy. If most of the women are sleeping with a select few men, how's that a man's issue? That would be a woman's issue. And again, you still have not answered the question from the church, from the Christian perspective. What would you do to solve that?
Well, I think what we need to do to solve that is, when it comes to things like, sex outside of wedlock, as a church, we have fault, like the Christian church has failed in enforcing those moral standards. I mean, and it's true. How many, if you think about like church singles groups, or even just general services, how many of them talk about something like sex within marriage specifically? It's not a popular concept. It's not something that I think a lot of church leaders, quote, think is a winning topic. But because of that, even amongst people within the church, like, that's a problem.
Okay. Well, here, I'll give you this solution, because that's a non-solution. That's just literally prattle. You didn't say anything. Here's the actual solution.
I'll let you continue. But
go ahead.
What I've said there is that the church should absolutely be pushing to enforce those moral standards, preaching those moral standards.
Which church?
Christian churches, like the church is the body of Christ.
Yeah, but the problem is that within Protestantism, you have so many different denominations, so many of them which embrace feminism, LGBTQ, this type of thing. They have no unified message. Only the traditional churches, Orthodoxy and Catholicism, do. That's it. That's why the Muslims have become so popular where they're at when they're pushing traditional values. That's the reason why. So I can tell you how you can actually make a lifeline to these guys if you actually want to bring them over to your side. If you really want to understand how you can fix this problem, you fix the problem with a move to patriarchy. That's the thing red pillars will embrace, a move to patriarchal systems. That's what Christianity can offer to the secularists, which bring them over to our side, a move to patriarchy. Because absent patriarchy, what has happened...
Churches need to embrace that.
Yeah, but they have no ecclesiastical authority. Because there's no ecclesiology, they can't do it. Protestant churches can't do it. They don't have the necessary ecclesiology in order to move into a patriarchal system. They don't have any reference for marriage. They don't have any laws or bylaws regarding marriage. They have no laws or bylaws regarding anything, whereas the traditional churches do have that ecclesiastical authority. That's why the traditional Abrahamic religions do so well, and why Protestantism does not do so well. And so hang on, I'm almost done. When you're making the advocation for this, the reason that you have a pro-feminist stance without even knowing it is because if you want to solve the problem on the red pill side and the Christ pill side, the one unifier that you have is a patriarchy, patriarchal systems. They will agree with that, and you can move them out of that. But just telling them, oh no, just be monogamous, that doesn't do anything for them, because who are the women left? They get the leftovers to be monogamous with. That's what they get.
All right, well, I mean, when it comes to things like divorce within the Catholic Church, at least if we're going with nominal Catholics, it is still high, unfortunately.
Depends on the country. That's one. Yeah, and there's influencers which happen inside of Western nations, especially due to feminism. In Orthodoxy, the rates are very, very, very low. Also, Orthodoxy offers the ecclesiastical authority and the requisite to get married outside of the state. It's not a requirement, because these are sacraments. These are messages which you can give
to actual red pillers to move them over to Christ. What you can't tell them to do, though, is, hey, take the big risk and the big gamble because Jesus would really like it if you did. That's insane messaging.
That's not my position, by the way, to take the risk and the gamble, to just roll the dice. I absolutely don't think that's a good idea for men to do. And I think that there are definitely things that you can do that would reduce your likelihood of getting divorced. I don't think you should just roll the dice. Absolutely not.
Well, then what is your prescription other than a move to patriarchy?
I don't think a move to patriarchy is not part of that answer. Again, I said that even in regard to the church, but I also think that there are certain mate selections that you can do that do have a statistical likelihood at reducing your chances of divorce, right? Socioeconomic status of married couples has an outcome. It affects your likeliness of divorce.
Yeah, but it also affects the outcome of you having children because you have them later in life because of family planning. And so what ends up happening is it's the poor and the downtrodden and those who reject materialism who are going to inherit the earth because they're the only ones who are breeding. It's actually bad advice to tell people to wait until later in life to get married because you're going to destroy the chance of them having more children.
I'm not telling people to wait later in life to get married, but I think there's sometimes the willingness to believe that there is one likelihood of divorce and that it's a roll of the dice no matter what the circumstances are, which is patently not true. And there's a big differential, even if you look at between different races, of the likelihood of divorce. The black divorce rate, I think,
that's because different races embrace different types of ecclesiastical authority inside of their churches. Namely, some of them have none. And that's why when the church effectively had some sort of body to it inside of black communities, you did not see these divorce rates nearly as high because they had a more traditional foundation for what it was that they were going for. That's all destroyed. But when you're talking about the entailment of what you just said, though, of, hey, your likelihood for divorce drastically is going to reduce if you have, these different socioeconomic statuses. An entailment of that is going to be that they wait till later to get married. That, in turn, is going to cause us to have less children, which exacerbates the birth rate crisis. These, again, not a great position.
Well, the thing is when people
wait, to bring it back, your position is essentially, broadly speaking, women are not really interested in dating up. Is that, can you restate your position?
It was more that I think that's just not true. I don't think women.
What's not true?
I don't think they date up because
in general,
I think newer generations.
Can I add?
Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind. The average age, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, for marriage is approximately 30.5 years old for women in general. Why do you think that is?
Wait, prioritize Discord.
I'm guessing you're going to say because they tried to date up and it didn't work out, right? That's your point?
Well, whether it is or it isn't, I'd like to hear why you think it is that women are getting married at 30 years old when clearly their fertility at that point is going to be drastically reduced in comparison to if they had gotten married when they were in their 20s. Why do you think they're waiting until they're in their 30s?
Well, trends are now showing that's because they're now trying to focus on careers.
Right. So they're trying to focus on resources, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they feel like it takes X amount of time for them to have some kind of resources and safety net and things like this that they can fall back on, and then they'll focus on getting married. Now, do you think that generally speaking, women are marrying men who make more money than them or less money than them?
Right now, probably more.
Probably more. So if you were to put all of this together, what would you say? What would be your synopsis for why this phenomenon is happening now and it's never happened before in history?
You're saying this has never happened before in history? That women dating up?
No. It's never happened before in history where women are waiting until they're in their 30s on average to get married.
Well, it's because they're getting more rights now and they're able to
Well, they've
work.
had rights. They've had rights, for 70 years. And even then, the trend still showed women were getting married when they were younger. Men, on average, get married when they're younger, too. So the question becomes really here, why is it that women are waiting till they're in their 30s to get married? Well, do you want to know what the responses from these surveys are for why they say that they're waiting until they're in their 30s to get married? What do you think that they are, if you had to guess?
Because they're waiting for the right person.
Well, they also say they're waiting to find somebody who's equally yoked with them and has financial stability. And when they get married, they're getting married to men generally who have more resources than they have. So that's not always the case, right? But they tend to settle when they're in their 30s. And in their 20s, they're looking for these, I don't know what you would call them, the Omega Chad or whatever the fuck you want to call it. They seem to be looking for that. And this is just what the data shows over and over again. So I would actually like to hear why you think what the alternative to this is in your mind. What is the alternative explanation?
To dating up? What's the alternative?
No, to why women are waiting until so late in life.
Yeah, it's because, like we were talking about, there's more possibilities for women. Like, we can go look at like Asian fertility rates and things like that. The birth rates going down as they are able to work more and more because they want to have a full career.
Right. So there's more options for them until they get into their 30s, and then the options begin to narrow. And so what do? What do they do when those options begin to narrow in their 30s?
If they settle, don't you think that's dating below them? If they're
settling can be, yeah, but even then, they tend to at least settle with somebody who makes on par the amount of money they make or more than they make. So again, you say that it's because the options, right? They have so many more options when they're younger. We totally agree. They have tons more options when they're younger. They're looking through all of those options, but when the options begin to narrow, that seems to be when they settle, right?
If I could jump in here too, why do you think women don't date up? You even just said that women settle for someone who makes equivalent or below.
My point about the settling was, in his mentality, not dating up is settling, right? So a lot of times if they can't date up...
What about your mentality?
If I'm dating someone who makes less than me?
If you're dating a broke guy, would you consider that settling?
No. Not necessarily at all.
Okay, so do you think women in general, though, would...
Wait, tilt your mic down.
Do you think women in
There you go.
Do you think women in general, if they dated men who could not financially provide for them, would consider that settling, as opposed to the ideal of dating someone who financially could take care of them, which would be women dating upwards?
And that's why I think it's more of a generational debate. I think younger generations start thinking, no, it's not settling, but if we get into...
So you don't think modern women want to date men who can financially...
The average age of marriage is increasing. It's not decreasing.
Nick, boost the
so
audio.
It's like, I don't understand. I'm
lower
trying
the
to
audio?
figure out where it is that you're coming from here. Because I think I get the worldview. I think I understand. We start with the monolith. You dismiss the monolith. That's fair, right? We're talking in generalities here. But you yourself, aren't you on essentially the same path, right? You're going to wait until you're educated and you have, something to fall back on, possibly a good nest egg. You're not in any rush. Is it inconceivable to you that you yourself will end up being one of these women who probably gets married later in life at 29, 30, 31?
No, I completely see myself getting married way later than...
Right, so you're following the exact same
Lower it
trend
a little bit.
that most of them are. You're exploring the options. Now, if Mr. Right comes in before then, and he's a football player with millions of dollars and wants to marry you, that might change drastically your outlook,
A little
right?
more.
No, because it's not necessarily on him, it's on me. Am I prepared for that?
That's what I'm asking you. If Mr. Right came in tomorrow,
With millions of dollars?
he was Rico Suave and he had millions of dollars, swept you off your feet, wouldn't you drastically reevaluate your situation?
Not at all. Why would I depend on someone with millions of dollars? What if he leaves me? Like, there's
Now what happens if he leaves you and he has millions of dollars and you're married to him? What happens?
Oh, there's definitely a prenup. Most people are somewhat smart about that, I would say.
A lot of these millionaires, surprisingly, don't get prenups. They don't get them. The women convince them not to get them, and they don't get them. So if a guy wasn't going to get a prenup with you, had millions of dollars, he's Rico Suave, he sweeps you off your feet right this second, what the hell would you ever have to work again for or rely on anything for? Wouldn't you go for it, or would you still wait until your education was done?
I would 100% wait. Like, I've dedicated so many years to my education. That would be such like a loss.
Do you value different resources? Is that why you said no to if you dated a broke guy that wouldn't be dating down?
Yeah, I mean, value them as a human more than their resources. Like, if they're just a good person.
Sure, but in like do you plan on having kids?
Yeah.
So in your grand scheme of your life, do you, I guess, put finances at the bottom, even though finances do go into a lot of having kids, getting a house, having a comfy lifestyle?
Well, I've always planned on working, so like it's not really a concern to me if they're the stay-at-home dad. That's never like, okay, that's not a concern for me. That's
why I asked.
7 septillion 777 sextillion 777 quintillion 777 quadrillion 777 trillion 777 billion 777 million 777,777 donated $100.
Oh wow, that's
my sprinkler goes like this.
Oh, that was actually really good.
Comes back like this.
Good. Here, wait. Let me. Thank you, sprinkler guy. Okay. Let me have a little back and forth with you here for a little bit. So, you mentioned one that you've been really focused on your education. Do you think that? Do you think that men will find you more attractive because of your educational achievement?
Maybe. Depends
Maybe.
what man.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I was just going to make the point that generally speaking, I would say men are not like your career success or your ambition or your educational achievement. It's not going to make you more attractive.
I think
to
smart
men.
men might.
No, not really. Suppose it depends on your definition of smart, but I don't think men, that's really a big part of the calculus when it comes to what men find attractive in a partner.
I have a question. So in that case, what would you say men do find attractive when looking for a partner when it comes to a woman's status as far as her
They
finances and
don't. They don't care
career at
anything
all?
about status.
Yeah.
Like
status is irrelevant.
Like no work, still lives with her parents in her 20s.
That's preferable.
Yeah, that's preferable.
Those are, yes, if she lives with her parents, it's probably more likely that she's not
well-adjusted,
going out on the weekends, doing hoe shit on the weekends.
I mean, in general, are men more willing to take care of somebody else other than women? I don't think that women would generally, I would say that you're more like an exception, right? Women are more like inclined to say, no, I don't want to take care of this person. I want to like take care of myself. But men in general are more willing to say, you know what, you don't have a job, let me take care of you.
They want to provide.
I think
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and
about that than a woman.
when men start to make a lot of money, they think, oh great, I can provide for my wife, I can provide for my family, I can provide for my kids. What I've seen a lot with women is when they start making a lot of money, they think, I don't need a man.
Yeah.
It's two very different perspectives.
I 100% agree.
Well, and
with
let me follow up with this too.
Wait, Nick, can you boost it a little bit?
As of right now, have you yourself financially supported any men?
Like, no, I'm 25 years old.
Well, I mean, but you've dated men.
I mean,
in that 25
yes,
years.
he had to borrow money a lot. Yes.
You had to borrow money a lot?
No, he did.
To what?
He did.
Yeah.
To do what? To fly you out?
No, just to live.
To live?
To live
to
life.
live?
And you're okay
Wait,
with that?
so hold on.
So, I think
Here, I've got a question for you. So, okay. There's a female attorney who's 30.
Okay.
Actually, let's do 35. 35-year-old female attorney, 35-year-old male attorney.
Okay.
Which one do you think is more willing to date an attractive 25-year-old who works at a Starbucks?
Oh, gosh.
The man or the woman?
You know the answer, Kirby.
I know the answer. Yes, a man. Yeah, I do think.
Why? Why?
I don't want to say why. I feel like.
Well, hey, why? Why?
I think I'm generalizing by saying these statements. I think I'm completely
These are general
generalizing.
statements. He's just asking more likely. That is a general statement. So who's more likely? You say it's more likely it's going to be the man. Why?
I think men more often think with their penises. I'm going to be
How I don't see how that's thinking with a penis.
Want to be with a young pretty woman.
No, it's
I wouldn't want to be with a young pretty woman.
Pretty.
We're having your position is that women actually don't date up.
Nickelodeon donated $100. What'd be the difference in your life between dating and not dating someone over the next 5 years? If it works, you're happy. If not, still lonely. I did the same thing, BC health issues, and regret it.
Wow, Nickelodeon. What'd be the difference in your life between dating and not dating someone over the next 5 years? Is this for the whole panel or just for her?
If it works, you're happy.
I don't really get the question.
I don't either.
Possibly like her not dating now versus her dating after she gets her degree and.
Yeah, Nickelodeon's saying
why
that
wait?
she regrets waiting. She regrets waiting.
Waiting.
Okay.
Over this 5-year course. That's all.
I mean, I had a boyfriend for some of it.
Well, no, it's not specifically. So Nickelodeon's saying, I've been in the situation where I waited, and I wish I hadn't waited over the 5 years. And so she's asking you specifically, do you think that it's better to wait or not wait? And what do you think the repercussions in your life will be as an entailment of that? That's what the question is.
Didn't they also talk about their own mental health if you don't date and you're in like a mentally...
They said health in general.
But there's health issues now. So, I mean, I would say that there's nothing wrong with you waiting, right? You have your own priorities set right now. That opinion might change later on, and then there's always going to be...
Nick, can you pull up the chart? Continue. Go ahead.
There's always going to be like repercussions for taking those actions. Although you're not interested in dating right now and you're focusing on in your career where there's nothing wrong with it, you'll be able to have, you'll be able to financially support yourself and somebody else if you so choose to, but the range of men that might be available to you is going to
be significantly smaller with every year that goes by.
Wait, Nick, can you pull up the chart?
But I mean, if you feel like the reward afterwards, which would be like what you guys might consider a high valued man who makes a good living, is good to you and treats you well, if that's a good enough reward and it's like worth the wait, then there's nothing bad with it. You just have to keep in mind that there's going to be repercussions to waiting.
I don't think there's repercussions. People get divorced all the time. Like the divorce rate's like 50%. It's like...
But you can choose to not get divorced and stay in a relationship and fight for it.
Well, no, I'm saying at me. I'm not saying like I'm getting married and then get divorced. I'm saying like
right. In general,
what?
The dating pool it's funny, right? It's
infographics folder.
I think I understand what was the donator Nickelodeon. Because I personally, I'm going on my 4th year of being single. Not really going on dates, talking to guys because I want to focus on my career. And just working on myself as a person. I also was going through health issues and just wanted to put dating completely on the back burner. And now I'm 24 years old, and I don't necessarily regret that, but I am at a point where I'm thinking it wouldn't have been a bad idea to start looking around or maybe dating around when I was a little younger, because I do want to have children and settle down at some point. And already being 24, I've only got like 3-ish more years to find someone if I want to start having children and get married young still. So I understand what they're saying about regretting.
All right, Andrew, a deal breaker.
For women?
Sure.
I'll give you 2 easy ones. Okay. Cruelty to children and the elderly. Deal breakers, massive deal breakers.
Definitely this is like for anyone, right?
Yeah. No, not for anyone. It's particularly like, I think you look at the nurturing, or what you consider the nature of a woman to be nurturing. You find some women who talk shit about kids. Maybe you don't, but in these circles, you find them all the time. Anti-natalist, people like this, actually mock children, mock what they call breeders, mock what they call women who actually take care of their children, mock motherhood. Right? One of the representations of the view that I have, even though feminists hate my guts, is I feel like I represent real women in that worldview better than most, because ultimately, what I see over and over and over again from liberal progressive scumbags and from the liberal atheist mind and from the feminist mind is that they are anti-natalist, they hate children, and they hate the elderly. And they mock them incessantly.
Oh, wow.
Constantly. All the time, nonstop. I would say those are the two, if I had to really think about it, the two biggest red flags. Any type of feminist who does any mockery of actual motherhood, that's the biggest red flag. I would run the other direction.
Why did you have to start that with feminist before? Doesn't feminist just someone who wants equality between two genders? I'm gonna start something crazy.
That's where the mindset stems from.
Wait, can you say that one more time?
Doesn't feminist just mean equality between the two genders?
Is that what that means?
That's it's the definition.
Sure, I'll grant the definition.
Modern.
Is that what it means?
I'm a poli-sci student. Yes.
Sure.
In our classes, it means that someone who's
equality. How?
Legal equality, social equality.
So what's social equality?
It would require a lot of different determinants.
Like the draft, would that be social equality?
Are there any feminists?
I just wanted to ask you. I was asking you why
I'm giving you an example.
No, you're asking me more questions.
Of how, well, through the question, it gives you the example of how you can see where feminists in the one side of their mouth will say that we want social equality. Now, the other side of their mouth really are not striving for actual social equality. What they're striving for is supremacy, female supremacy. And this is why you constantly see the victimhood, and I see it time and time again, of what I call Schrodinger's feminists, which is I'm an empowered boss bitch, I'm awesome, but the patriarchy is oppressing me. It's like, well, it can't be both. Either the patriarchy is oppressing you or you're a badass boss bitch CEO. Like, which one is it?
I wouldn't say the patriarchy is legally oppressive, but I'd say there are societal norms and standards that impact women on their daily lives.
Oh, like
that
what?
Fundamentally impact how they act.
Yeah, like what?
Knowing that men play chess and women play checkers. Now I'm scared. Now I'm scared to go talk to a man because they play chess. And now I think I'm not good enough. I have imposter syndrome. Maybe that's my fault for not having a dad, but...
Keep going.
Here's my question to you.
Do
you know any feminists that are pro-life? Are feminists pro-life?
Personally, I'm sure I don't know any personally.
They're
but I'm sure there
usually pro-abortion. They're usually for people being able to have abortion. So when he's talking about women that display cruelty towards children
anti-natalism,
and even prenatal babies in the womb. It is relevant to say feminists because we know that the feminists are the loudest about aborting unborn babies, and many of them I've literally debated on the streets talk about thinking that it's okay to abort full-term babies. Okay, so when you have women, I talked to a feminist who literally had babies being eaten by alligator earrings hanging off of her ears, and talking about how wonderful it was to abort all these babies, and I think that it's relevant to talk about feminism because those people are the loudest about being able to abort babies.
I don't think that comes from a place of disliking children or holding animosity towards children. I think it's more saying, as a woman, I shouldn't be tied down to this one outcome of raising a family and having a child.
Is that because is that attack your children?
It's all me.
It's putting yourself before the life of a child.
But is that because of the fear of having to take on the responsibility of the child alone, as opposed to getting the support from the father?
Maybe let's say I got pregnant tomorrow. I forgot to take my birth control. Look at me, premarital sex. What a slut. Okay, yeah, but this is just a theoretical. Mm-hmm. Let's say I got pregnant. You guys would all want me to have it. What about I want to go to law school. I'm a poli-sci major. Okay, but what's wrong with having a
this is the point. I'm telling you, this is the point to the red flag.
So,
what I'm saying is that the fact that all I heard is me, also me.
Well, a man would be able to do that and not receive any backlash for it, and go to law school and finish law school.
Do you want the answer or not?
Go for it.
So when you go me, I, me, I'll kill the kid because then I can get the shit that I want.
Yeah.
We think of that as being fucking monstrous. We think of it, we think of it literally akin to a monster. A monster is the type of person who would say, I'm going to do shit that I want, give myself the life that I want, get all the material gains that I want, at the expense of killing children. I literally cannot define a monster better than that.
I wish my mom had aborted me. She was a horrible mother. She did not have the money. She did not have the money to take care of me.
Now the truth comes out, doesn't it?
No, it's not because I'm suicidal, but I just wanted to make a...
Well, that's really strange.
I just wanted to make a really aggressive point.
You wish your mom would have aborted you.
Can you let me finish my sentences?
But you don't want to unalive yourself. It's so weird.
No. I don't. Okay, but what I'm saying is my mom was not
capable financially of raising a child at that time, and it gave me a way shittier life that I have to deal with every day. Oh, I know, me. Yeah, but if she had, you know, she was old, whatever. But like, if someone who was super young, who's not financially responsible yet.
Now, what if your mother had you, but she put you
40?
No, what if she had you, but it put you up for adoption, and you were adopted by a very well-off mother and father that gave you
that would have been great, but she wasn't going to do that, and she didn't. I'm saying if I was about to have a kid right now, I would have a horrible life. So I think it would be better off for everyone. Not to mention the issues with the foster care system.
Even if you put it,
I have a friend who's been in the foster care system.
Then why wouldn't you just okay?
And she got adopted.
Let me get this right.
She did not like it.
You don't want to unalive yourself right now, right?
No,
right now.
Well, I mean,
because you have a good life, right?
Okay. I have a question.
Well, hang on. Let me finish the line of inquiry. Do you have a good life now?
Do you want to talk to my therapist?
And that's why you don't. Of course you have a therapist, but I'm guessing you don't want to unalive yourself?
I mean, I'm here.
Oh, that doesn't answer the question.
Okay, I didn't mean actually like I wish I was dead. I was saying
But that's what that would be.
In some circumstances, abortion would be better.
Yeah, I get it, but in your case, you said I wish my mother would have aborted me. This is I wish my mother would have killed me so I wasn't alive today because my childhood was rough.
Not just that, but yeah, sure.
Well,
I would say that.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
In your example, when you said, because I want to go to law school and if tomorrow I got pregnant, you made the choice to engage in sex, correct? In this hypothetical. We're just talking about this theoretical that you set up. But don't you think it's a bit absurd to make the most vulnerable person in that entire dynamic the most responsible for your actions and the actions that you engaged in?
The most vulnerable person being the baby, the egg that has not even, the semen has not even reached it.
Well, if you have an abortion, that
wouldn't be an abortion.
That's not.
What if I took a morning after pill?
What if
that's
you did?
not an abortion. That's not the theoret. That's not the.
But would that be chill vibes with all y'all?
That's not. That's not what we're. That's not what we're.
Okay.
That's not even what you post.
Let's grant all of those. Okay. At what point is the cutoff for you to abort?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not. I'm a poli-sci major. I'm not a medical. So then who cares?
Right. So then it's a distinction with no merit. If you can't tell us when life.
So then why did you say it's an egg?
If you can't tell us when life begins.
Okay, when the medical people say the heart, whatever is important, I don't know.
The medical people don't tell you when life begins. They can't. It's an ontological question.
There's something in the law that's been demarcated.
Yeah, you know when human life is agreed on for beginning by all scientists on planet Earth.
What is that?
Conception.
By scientists?
By all scientists, yes.
You take a biology course,
that is light.
That's human life. There's no way around it.
The moment of conception, when the sperm meets the egg, there's literally a flash of light that happens.
Could we get a camera on that?
It's been documented.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
And what's your name, by the way?
Renee,
beautiful name.
I don't know. It's a big pile on. Probably moving on here in a second.
I just want to say, first of all, I'm glad you're here. I have to say that because I really feel sad that you've said that just now. But my question was, you mentioned the financial aspect. Do you think if men took accountability for their actions with the women, both taking accountability that for the child that they've created, that they've helped create, do you think that more women would feel the need to do this? Because you mentioned only a financial concern.
Men don't have choice. They have to take accountability.
I'm just saying.
I didn't mean financially was the only thing. I also think my parents were just both mentally unfit to have a child at all, which I don't want you guys to take that too seriously when I'm like, I wish I was aborted. That's obviously like a talking point. It's obviously
Was it a talking point?
Yeah, it was because
then when I followed up with you, do you want to be alive right now? You're like, well,
because I'm funny and people in this day and age don't want to live sometimes. I don't know, but what's it called?
I mean, that sounds.
To answer her question.
Sounds kind of miserable.
It's a joke. To answer her question.
Sounds like cope. Not a joke.
I don't mean. My point that I was trying to make was that there are some circumstances where I just think the parents should not be parents at all. Like, it would just be worse for anything that was born, like, regardless. Like, I just think, like, maybe I don't mean, like, I don't want to live at all, but, like, I would have rather been born to a million other different parents, and I know that's impossible, and it's a lottery.
Yeah, but
what
I
I'm
don't understand
is,
why these are exclusive positions.
So
you can have horrible parents after the baby is born, and you know what happens if there's horrible parents? Kid gets taken out and placed with another family.
Right.
Same
Not
exact thing
always.
that she just suggested.
Sometimes it's
but
like
that's
just bad.
but here's the thing: you can't always put an always on it. It's like saying, well, we shouldn't outlaw murder because there's always going to be some murders. Yeah, there are. There's nothing you can do to mitigate
are you a relativist
100% everything. That's not relativism. It's the opposite of relativism. It's not even pragmatism. It's recognizing objective reality. That sure, even if you outlaw murder, there's still going to be murders. But these are not exclusive positions. I understand saying, well, you can have bad parents. Yeah, that's true. What does that have to do with aborting children?
Maybe some parents know that they would be bad
They
parents
don't
at the
have to
time.
keep
and
the
would
child.
abort the
They
child.
can put the child for adoption.
Why wouldn't
the foster care system is awful. I'm
adoption
sorry.
is not the same as
It's
the
not- it's not
foster
foster
care
care.
system.
Okay,
why are
maybe they
people,
don't have
Not only
anyone
that,
who's
but,
ready
you
to
know,
adopt.
why are people who are not prepared to take the consequences of their actions having sex to begin with? Because then you are blaming the child for the consequences of your actions, like the miss over there said, that you're putting the full onus of the consequence on that unborn baby because you chose to be irresponsible. That is a reactionary response. And I would say that a man is just as dangerous as a woman who decides to abort the child. But it in no way would benefit you to even be with somebody, a man especially, who tells you, yeah, I want to kill my own child. That man can't be trusted to take care of you either. So in what way, for what reason does it make sense to punish a child because you choose to be irresponsible in your own day-to-day life and that man? That is the most feminine thing I could
Maybe
even
you're not
think of.
punishing the child, you're saving the child.
By murdering it.
Yes. By the life it would have
Yes.
had if it was
Yes.
born.
Wait,
You're
what?
saving it from the life it would have had if it was born.
How benevolent of you.
Yes.
That's
by
why
killing
the
it.
So where's
now
the-
this is why the benevolent patriarchy must exist. Because if we left it to people like you say, you know, the most benevolent thing we could do is fucking kill you. That's literally your line of
If
logic.
there were
here.
better like welfare societal systems in place, maybe.
How about responsible men?
For
Oh,
children?
it's just that we don't have enough welfare.
Yeah.
Which demographic would you thought, if you had to think about it, takes up a huge majority of welfare funds?
Single mothers.
Oh, I thought we just didn't have enough of a welfare system, but they're getting tons of cash from the welfare system. What the fuck are you talking about?
Didn't the welfare system actually incentivize the degradation of the family
Especially
unit?
in particular communities, yes.
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $200. I cannot think of anything less worthy of joking about the tending unborn life. We cannot choose our parents, but we can choose our path. Feminism has failed you. The patriarchy is here to help.
I feel enlightened.
Yo, Grid 1, good to see you in the chat, man.
benevolent
Thank you very
patriarchy.
much. While we have that in, we do have a couple other chats. Let me just get through the chats and then we'll continue on with some of the convo here. So, Grid 1, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. We have Pico. B, love to see Andrew on. Ladies, if on OF and want to move on, start developing other skills now. You can make millions later if you start now. Sex is the easiest way to do it, but it's not good long term. Okay, thank you, Pico. Appreciate it, man.
True.
We have Rose. Rose coming in. The blonde InfoWars is preaching Sky Daddy principles to the locusts from the pit, casting pearls to swine. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. The book of Joel is great. Do you have a quick response?
I would say that
Big Sass Energy donated $200.
Oh, Big Sass
Any
Energy.
other girl in any other country would be so happy to be in this girl's shoes. The fact this girl thinks it preferable to be aborted shows the level of ungratefulness despite a difficult upbringing.
I would.
Well,
do you wanna-
don't worry, she's going to talk to
Okay.
her therapist
Hold
about
on,
it.
but do you want to
It'll be
respond to
okay.
that really quick?
Yeah, maybe I am a little ungrateful to my parents because they had me at a time. In general, I'd just say I'm ungrateful to my parents. They shouldn't have had me. But that doesn't mean I'm ungrateful for where I am. I still am very happy with my circumstances.
Well,
with
then
the
they
fact
should
that
have
I'm
had you.
alive. Okay, yeah, I get what you mean.
That makes no sense.
Okay,
It's illogical.
I understand the argument that you're making. Okay, you ended up fine. Look at you, you're fine. You ended up great, you're happy. But the thing is that didn't need to happen. I didn't need to go through all the things
what
that
needs to happen?
like I could have been happy anyways with like a normal set of circumstances, and that wasn't even like the
if
main
you're talking
point
about
of my
need,
argument.
though, think about what you're saying. If you're talking about need, it also doesn't need to happen that you abort a child. That doesn't need to happen. So when you use an example of need, right? This is like some type of imperative. This does not need to happen. Nothing needs to happen. right?
Yeah.
But the point, I don't even know how that's a point in your favor to say it didn't need to happen. So what? So what if it didn't need to happen?
Okay,
Also, aborting a kid doesn't need to happen.
Maybe I can say that all of that rough shit made for better character development in my life. But, like, fundamentally, wouldn't you agree that, like, if a couple is, like, about to have a child, you would probably tell them no. Okay, maybe you don't want the abortion to happen because that's just so evil, but you'd probably tell them no if they're in really shitty financial, emotional circumstances beforehand.
That's kind of a eugenics perspective.
That would be so.
I
so
wouldn't
what
say
you're
that's
saying,
the eugenics
How is
perspective.
it not? If you're saying people
bizarre.
who are financially suitable
Yeah.
should only be the ones to have children, so people in poverty should
No.
have children?
You can. I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
People should be able to have the choice if they know that they're going to.
Let me
not
be as
able to
charitable as I
But
can. to
your
your
arguments keep coming back to finances, and that's why I said at the end of the day, if men were accountable for their actions as
But
well
yes,
as
it is
the
a eugenics
women,
argument.
and
But
they took
still.
accountability for their children, and they protected and provided for the woman and child, and you were able to continue to live your life unimpeded, then what would be your argument for abortion? Because the main thing that you continuously come back to is finances. So if the men were taking care of you and you were both responsible, then what's the issue?
I have a question. I know you want to
Hang on.
your
Let
studies.
one question
really
at a
quick,
time
no.
so she can respond, though.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, you wanted to be charitable, right?
Yeah, I was just saying. Now I'm doing it. I was just saying to be as charitable to your view as possible, which is I think that this is just your argument. If two people came to you and said we're thinking about having a child, but we're in all sorts of rough shape financially.
Big Sass Energy donated $200. You're more than fine. You live in the greatest country in the greatest time in the history of the world. Travel to other countries, get some goddamn perspective.
Damn, I know, I'm chilling. I'm just saying.
So anyway, you're just saying, would you advise them to, maybe wait to have children?
Yeah.
Sometimes, but sometimes not. Like, what if we took their age into account? We're like, okay, she's 33, he's 32. Then I wouldn't advise it. I'd be like, well, maybe things would be a little rough. But yeah, you probably should have them now if you're going to have them. But if you're talking about 21, 22 years old, sure, you might say, hey guys, you could wait a couple of years till, you have your feet under the ground a little bit better. Nobody's adverse to any of that. And it's not an argument in your favor for killing kids. Even if we grant the entire worldview, how in the world does it help you with your argument of taking out the kid? I don't get it.
You're not killing a kid, you're preventing it from being born. That's my view. So I know that's not y'all's view.
So let me just make sure I get this right. Scott Peterson viciously murders his wife, kills unborn baby, right? Goes to prison for double homicides. You'd let him off on the one homicide, right? He's an unborn baby.
What? Oh, one homicide instead of double homicide? Yeah, sure.
You would exempt him from the one homicide?
They're getting a life sentence anyway, yes.
Okay, let's say he's only going to get 15 years.
Okay, then
what age do you think?
I just want to make sure I'm clear. Hang on, let her finish. Almost done.
That it is in the law.
Almost done. I just want to finish this.
Okay, so 24
almost done.
weeks.
Yeah.
Just want to be clear. 9-month pregnant, stabbed in the stomach.
Okay, then that was double homicide. If it's past the legal
What's
thing.
what if the legal thing is 8 months?
I don't know the law like
what if
that.
it's
I'm
8?
sorry.
What if it's 8? That's why don't muddy the water here for just a second. Let's say it's 8 months. Let's say 8 months. They say you can legally do it. Let's just say you can legally do it up to 9 months. There's legislation in places for that.
No.
No? Well, then when?
24 weeks.
Okay, so 24 weeks. It's 24 weeks in a day, then it's a double homicide. But it's 23 weeks. Nope. Then he gets away with it.
That's how it is with every law.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, but the point that you just tried to make is how every law has to be interpreted, like strictly. Yes, it would be single homicide before and double homicide
after. Laws are interpreted on a case by case, but that aside, even assuming we were charitable to that, if you can't tell us when life even begins, why the fuck should we care about your opinion on abortion anyway?
I just said 24 weeks.
Because she told you that. But you couldn't tell us why it starts at 24 weeks.
I didn't say that's when life began.
You guys told me it was at conception with the light explosion.
I did not say that life began at 24 weeks. This is why
when you get too many heads in the cookie jar with one conversation, it becomes this. I'm just saying, if we look at it, you would say that guy should get exempted from one of the murders. If he kills unborn kid. I just want to hear you say it.
This is such a this is not helping your point at all.
Well, then
My
just go ahead and
argument is
concede
that
to the
a woman
point.
should be able to end a child before 24 weeks if she's not ready.
Yeah, why
to
24
have
weeks?
the child? Because that's what the scientists say is.
Oh, which ones?
About socially
the ones you just made
acceptable.
up. You didn't know when life began. 2
Which
minutes
ones are
ago.
they? Which ones are they?
2 minutes
The
ago,
scientists that say
you
that.
didn't know anything about the science of abortion.
You're scarecrowing right now. Or no,
What?
what's the fallacy? It's the one where you're attacking straw man. Yeah,
What's the straw man?
You're attacking my character for not knowing the scientific start date of when a baby
No.
is
I'm attacking
considered.
your direct position that you said I don't know
No, you're
when
not.
this begins. Did you not say
no,
that?
you're not. You're attacking the fact that
Is
I
it-
don't know.
So okay,
You're trying to make
wait
me
a
look
second. You
like
literally
I don't
just
know
said
this.
I
Which
don't
is true.
know.
I don't.
So then that's your position. How's that a straw man?
What? No, I said 20. Now I'm saying 24 weeks. You were saying
Yeah,
why should we trust you when
okay,
you don't know
fine.
the actual
Based
scientific
on,
date?
then
That's a straw man.
based on 24 weeks, right? You say 24 weeks. Why does life begin in 24 weeks?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. So then, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm straw manning you.
Okay, well, you have to do the research yourself. Sorry.
If you took a biology class, don't they say that basically life starts at fertilization?
No.
It starts
and
at
the last time I took a
conception.
bio class was my sophomore year of high school.
But that's not what the argument is.
I do have to move things on. I do have to move